This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good night, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for February 19, 2023. And in the news tonight, St. Anne man charged with murder. The St. Anne police have charged a man for the killing of 55-year-old Clive Reed, otherwise called the chemist, of Old Buckfield, Ocherius in the parish on December 15. He is 21-year-old Ramon Gillies, a vendor of Old Buckfield. The Ocherius police say about 7:10 a.m., residents stumbled upon Reed's body and notified them. On their arrival, Reed was found lying on a bench with several wounds to the face. He was transported to hospital, where death was confirmed. Gillies was charged on Saturday. St. Catherine businessman accused of using gun to threaten woman. Several charges have been laid against the St. Catherine businessman after he allegedly threatened a woman while pointing his licensed firearm at her. 47-year-old Marlon Smith of Bridgeport in Portmore, St. Catherine, has been charged for assault at common law, making use of a firearm to commit a scheduled offense, and the breach of the terms and the conditions of a firearm authorization. The charges stem from an incident in Portsmouth, Portmore on February 12. The Jamaica Constabulary Forces Corporate Communications Unit says its reports are that about 2:20 a.m., Smith and a woman were at Laburnum Crescent in Portsmouth when an argument developed between them. He reportedly pointed his firearm at her and threatened her. The matter was reported to the police, and Smith was arrested and the firearm seized. He was subsequently charged on Saturday after an interview in the presence of his attorney. His court date is being finalized. JMEA says recent thefts at retail outlets island-wide has created some level of uneasiness. The Jamaica Manufacturers Exporters Association says that the recent thefts of automated banking machines and the break-ins, which have hit several retail outlets island-wide, has created some level of uneasiness for the business sector. JMEA head John Mahfood was responding to recent reports of break-ins at several business establishments, which also saw the recent brazen theft of ABM machines on at least 3 occasions. According to Mr. Mahfood, what could lead to a seeming trend in the ABM thefts is bound to create a nightmare for retailers. Meanwhile, the JMEA president says these thefts have come at a time when banks are pushing customers to increase their use of ABMs. Mr. Mahfood says that the situation is further complicated by the fact that the police cannot provide the necessary monitoring of the ABM network due to other policing duties. The JMEA president has recommended that, where possible, retailers and other business operators consider implementing additional security measures to try and thwart any possible break-ins and thefts. Portland rafters welcoming the recent suspension of sand mining in the Rio Grande. Portland rafters are welcoming the recent suspension of sand mining in the Rio Grande in Portland. Last week, it emerged that the entity which had been issued a permit to mine the popular river had been slapped with an enforcement notice by the National Environment and Planning Agency. The notice ordered the entity to cease all mining operations. NEPA officials were forced to put a hold on mining operations following a number of concerns over how the mining process was being undertaken. Long-standing rafter Clement Thuxter lauded the move by NEPA, but added that fellow rafters face challenges in carrying out their duties at the popular tourist attraction. Mr. Thuxter claims that one of the main concerns relates to garbage pollution. Meanwhile, a colleague of Mr. Thuxter highlighted other concerns with the river mining operations. The rafter, who requested anonymity, says that the current mining operations have affected leisure and domestic activities for residents and visitors. The rafter is recommending that the authorities step up enforcement to prevent any further dislocation of the rafters. Parents being targeted in fight against child labor. The Ministry of Labor and Social Security will be increasing its engagement with parents and other key stakeholders as part of measures to eliminate child labor in Jamaica. There are approximately 38,000 children aged 5 to 17 who are involved in child labor in Jamaica. Child labor is defined by the International Labor Organization as a work that deprives children of their childhood, potential, and dignity, and involves a work that is mentally, physically, socially, or morally dangerous and harmful to minors. Delivering the keynote address at the awards ceremony for the ministry's child labor video competition held recently in New Kingston, Labor and the Security Minister Samuda said the ministry is trying to rid the country of the practice in which children are used as factors of production. He said the ministry wants to ensure that there is a shared understanding of what constitutes child labor and to separate abject abuse from cases where children are allowed to assist their parents while still going to school and enjoying their fundamental rights. Mr. Samuda has also acknowledged that there is a desperate need to protect the children against the dark side of social media, where they are being exposed to inappropriate and potentially damaging content. He says the dark side of social media is a source of mental and psychological deprivation of what could otherwise be the development of brilliant and fertile minds. Integrity Commission Chairman rejects accusations of malice, says lives of staff may be put at risk. Integrity Commission Chairman Justice Seymour Panton has rejected as baseless and outrageous suggestions that the anti-corruption body is motivated by malice or animosity. Panton was dismissing accusations leveled at the Commission as furious debate continues over the tabling in Parliament of its investigation report on the awarding of contracts to a company owned by friend of Prime Minister Andrew Holness before a ruling stating that the head of government should not be charged for procurement regulation breaches. I have noted with deep concern the content of some of the statements that have been made since the tabling of the report and the publication of the ruling in the Westcon matter. Many of the statements, in my opinion, demonstrate a misunderstanding of the Integrity Commission Act, Panton, a retired president of the Court of Appeal, said in a statement requested by the News on Saturday. Suggestions of malice, ill will, or evil motive on the part of the Commission are rejected as being untrue, baseless, and outrageous. I am very surprised and disappointed at the source of some of these comments, as they are made by persons whom I thought knew better, Justice Panton said. I think it is very irresponsible of those persons to be making such statements, and I fear that they are likely to inflame passions and, in Jamaica's violent climate, put the lives of the commissioners and the staff of the Commission at risk, he said. I urge the staff of the Commission to not allow themselves to be demotivated by the comments that are being made. I take this opportunity to urge calm on all fronts. The Commission has been taking heavy flack since it emerged last Thursday that it had tabled its report in Parliament on Tuesday, stating that Holness had been referred to Director of Corruption Prosecution Keisha Prince Kamiko, despite her ruling on January 12, 2023, that no criminal charges can be laid against him, as additional material made available failed to contradict or provide more evidence in support of the offenses contemplated. In its report, the Integrity Commission said its Director of Investigation had probed the allegations that contracts had been awarded to Westcon Construction Limited between February 2007 and November 2009, and that there is a connection and/or relationship between Holness and the proprietors Robert Garvin and Donovan Simpson. At the time, Holness was the Education Minister and had admitted that Garvin was a friend. However, last week, after the report was tabled, he issued a statement strongly rejecting the findings of the investigation. Last Thursday, the Direction of Corruption Prosecution's ruling was made public, prompting outrage and accusations of bias among Holness's supporters and expressions of concern from business, professional, and civil society organizations, among them the Jamaica Civil Service Association, the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, National Integrity Action, and the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce. There was also consternation of damage to the country's image as the initial revelation of the head of government being referred for prosecution was picked up by large media entities overseas. In a column on page 13 of today's Sunday Observer, former Prime Minister Bruce Golding argues that the damage, not just to the Prime Minister, but to the country, cannot yet be measured. On Friday, the Integrity Commission, in defense of its handling of the matter, rejected allegations of misstep. The commissioners said there is no provision in the Integrity Commission Act mandating the tabling of a ruling by the Director of Corruption Prosecution. However, they took the decision in the interest of full and early disclosure that the ruling ought to be communicated to Parliament and the public advised. They said that once the report into wholeness matter was sent to the Director of Corruption Prosecution, as required by law, she submitted her ruling to the Commission. The commissioners, not having had the opportunity to read, understand, and discuss it, took time to do so. The report was sent to Parliament and was tabled on February 14, 2023. Confirmation of the tabling was communicated to the Commission on February 15, 2023. The Commission's review of the ruling having been finalized, instruction was given on the said February 15, 2023 for it to be published, and the publication was done on February 16, 2023, the Commissioners explained. They emphasized that a publication of the ruling could not be done before or simultaneously with the report. It had to await the tabling of the report. That is the law as crafted by Parliament, the Commissioners said. But that explanation has not been accepted by the JCC and Golding. On Saturday, the JCC, in a news release, said the delay of more than 24 hours in the tabling of the investigation and ruling, given the fallout that must have been foreseen and in fact has now been realized, appears unacceptable and frankly unforgivable. At the same time, Golding argued that tabling both documents in Parliament at the same time would have been the right thing to do. It would have prevented the public consternation that ensued and the reputational damage that has been done to both the Prime Minister and the country. Meanwhile, Justice Panton assured Jamaicans that the commissioners and the staff of the Integrity Commission are committed, patriotic Jamaicans. We have no agenda other than the discharge of the duties placed on us by the legislation, and it is still our intention to discharge our duties without fear or favor. Nothing should be done to hinder the work of the Commission, he insisted. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.